Thank you for wandering into the last video. So the only podcast where I, Alexei, talk to cool, interesting, exciting, wickedly talented people about their favorite films ever. And we do so in an old school video store rental combo. And joining me on the podcast today is Aisha D. Fantastic actor. I love her in this movie SISSY, which is a gritty, grotty, gory Australian horror film. But right now she is in this huge Netflix show called Apple Cider Vinegar. Now, producer M, we're very excited to get Aisha D on the show today, right?
Oh, so excited. I love SISSY as well. I saw it in the cinema and had the best time. I loved it.
Well, you're a grotty horror head just like me.
I'm disgusting.
You love disgusting movies. That movie's like so much fun.
Yep.
But we're talking Apple Cider Vinegar today as well. Great series. Do you know what it's about?
I do. It's about Belle... Wait, what's her name?
Belle Gibson.
Belle Gibson.
Not to be confused with Mad Mel. We're talking Belle Gibson. Who
gets confused, yeah.
It does get confusing.
Yeah.
But this is like so much fun. I've been watching this with my partner. And it is about Belle Gibson. If you don't remember her, or if you're outside of Australia, I think this was a big international story. But hugely successful health influencer online. Like very much groundbreaking in that space. Total scam, perhaps, and the show explores that and all the kind of undoing and unraveling of that. So it's kind of like one of those fascinating shows that is following, you know, it's a period piece, but set 10 years ago. But all that stuff is so relevant now because it's all social media stories. I find that like such an interesting space to be exploring now is these kind of real life stories set through social media and the way that things that are online intersect with the real world. Fascinating, and this is such a fun version of it. Aisha is fucking great in this show as well.
She?
Really strong like duologues and monologues, so she gets to like hold a lot of weight from this performance, like this show, this character. Huge recommendation. I think you'll get a lot of fun out of this show. But also in it, you've got Caitlin Dever playing Belle Gibson. She is, you know, you've seen her in Last of Us season 2, which is not out yet, but you've seen her in the trailer for season 2 of Last of Us. But book smart and so many great shows and movies. Fantastic actor. Maybe the best Australian accent I've ever seen anyone do.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. I mean, it's obviously better than my Australian accent, which is this weird, like, Greek-Australian weird voice unique thing.
I love your accent.
Me too, but it's strange. People don't know where I'm from, so I know. It's a Canterbury accent.
It's got its own accent, doesn't it?
It's very pinpointed part of the map, but amazing accent work. Alicia Carey also freaking great in it. Another great actor. I'd love to get her on the show too someday.
Let's manifest right now.
We're manifesting her right now. I'm manifesting right now. I grew up in the same neighborhood as her.
Wow.
So she sounds exactly like me. No, she doesn't.
She's got your accent.
Exactly. But that is sick. Check out Apple Cider Vinegar. It's out now today, basically on Netflix. Aisha D is fantastic in it. I'm so excited for this chat. Before we get into it, what we're going to do is we talk about her favorite films in a style video store rental combo, 1 new release film, 2 weeklies, all-time favorites, and then I'll give her a recommendation based on her taste. And if you want the same treatment, all you need to do is give us a review on Apple Podcasts, a comment on a Spotify episode if you're listening to it on Spotify right now, on YouTube with your combo, and I'll give you a recommendation. We've got one from Apple Podcasts in the US of A right now. Who is this from?
This is from Goob Likes Movies.
Oh, Goob, thank you for liking the podcast and thank you for liking movies. In fact, I'm sure you love them if you listen to a podcast about them.
And that's your name. So Goob says, well, they've given the review a title, which I always love, Sensei of Cinema in Full Form.
Oh my God, I love that.
Good.
Sensei of Cinema.
Love that.
I love that. Thank you.
So they say, Alexei and Cam, big shout out to Cameron James.
Always a big shout out to Cameron James, my dearest mate.
Taught me how to fall in love with movies.
Oh my God.
This podcast is the ultimate conduit for exploration and discovery because of that ever-present love of movies. Love listening every week, and I'm going to love listening for the rest of my life.
Wow.
I hope we're doing this show for the rest of our lives.
Dude.
Imagine that.
God, hopefully this guy's not terminally ill and he hasn't told us, by the way, I'm dying and I'm taking the show with me.
Okay, rental combo would be new release, Apollo 10.5, a space age story, because I'm a huge Linklater fan, and this was a bit of an underseen gem. great Houston movie.
He's probably in Houston. Yeehaw, dude. I love Apollo 10.5. Richard Linklater, love it.
I've never even heard of that.
Dude, it's on Netflix. It's
Yeah?
such a good movie. It might be one of the best like 5 movies Netflix ever put out.
Really?
Yeah, but it came out during like lockdowns. Okay, we're on a whole tangent right now.
I know.
So good. It's
Okay.
that kind of rotoscope animation that Linklater did in like Scanner Darkly and stuff.
Oh, thanks, Goob. I'll watch it. Weeklies who do the right thing. Spike Lee is my ultimate hero, and this
Yeah.
is his masterpiece. Should be cited as best film of all time.
Absolutely agree.
And Stop Making Sense. I like to shake my groove thing. I love you, Goob.
Dude, Goob, you rock, Goob. Well, Goob likes movies. Alexei and Em like Goob. I'm going to give you a great recommendation. Yes, I'm going to give you a groove thing shaker. Going to go Spike Lee as well, one of my heroes too. A very lesser seen film of his. You might have to track it down. If you're in America, Goob, I'm talking directly to one person now, but everyone should
This
listen to
podcast
this.
for you.
But Goob right now, Americans, you can probably get this film in a library. It's very hard to find, and the reason it's hard to find is this movie, Girl 6 it's called, lesser known Spike Lee movie from the 90s, about phone sex workers. The reason it's lesser known, the reason it's hard to see, is the reason you'll be shaking your groove thing to this movie, because the soundtrack is Prince. Every song of the soundtrack is songs by Prince.
Wow.
Like there's dozens of Prince songs, so it will cost a fucking fortune, more than this movie probably ever made, to put it back out in the world in any kind of way, because you'd have to rebuy the rights for new ways, because Prince's rights are all so crazy. But it's like fully Prince soundtrack. Madonna's in this movie.
No
like
way.
it's very cool. I saw it last year at the Art Gallery of New South Wales. So they do great screenings of movies. They did a screening of movies about sex workers, and this is like one that I've been dying to see my whole life. Finally saw it, lived up to every expectation. You'll freaking love this movie, Goob. Girl 6. If you love Spike Lee, you love Shaking a Groove thing, this is the one, man.
This whole episode's for you, Goob.
Honestly,
I hope
it
you
all
like
is.
it.
Goob. Congratulations. You got the Aisha D episode of the podcast. It's
a good
one of the
one.
best episodes we've ever done, so get into it right now.
Yeah, we should probably get into the episode.
Let's
It's
do
that
it.
good.
It's that good. Cut that intro down short. Aisha, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to have you here because I would say this, you're in one of my favorite Aussie movies from the last few years, Sissy.
Aw.
Sick horror movie. Some of the best score around.
Thank you.
You're Scream Queen. It's official.
Oh, thank you. That really means a lot. I love that movie.
Yeah,
and
it
I
rocks.
I know we both know Hannah and Kane who wrote and directed it. I would literally go to the end of the earth for them. I don't know when they're going to make their next movie, but if I don't have a role as like at least an extra or something, I'm going to freak out.
I would love to see that to be the next step of your career is extra in Australian films.
Yeah, or I'll hold the boom. Not well. I have no upper body strength, but
Yeah.
I'll do it.
No one's made that transition from star to then extra and then boom operator.
I
you know?
think that's the new way of
You're
things.
revolutionising the game, dude.
Yeah, I'm a
Revolutionising the
trendsetter.
game. But here as well, you're in Apple Cider Vinegar, which is a new Netflix program about Mel Gibson. Crazy show, crazy premise. But I love your performance in this, especially you've got these great, like, kind of long monologue scenes in it.
Yeah.
Or, like, great, like, heavy duologue scenes. So what I was fantasizing about since seeing that, I would love you to, in that style, take me back to the video store you grew up with. What was your favorite video store growing up? Any video store memories?
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Well, it was always a Blockbuster or a Video Easy, right? I think I remember.
Instantly, I'm there already. You've captivated me. You did
All right,
it.
let
You
me
did
paint
it.
the picture.
You did
okay,
it.
I had my two little stepbrothers and I, because by the time my little sister came along, there was no more video stores. She's
Wow.
much younger than me, but
My
my
God,
little
a whole new
brothers and I.
generation.
Oh yeah, but you would get like was it like 3 for $10 or something? And the three of us just like walk around the video store on the outer section because that's where all the cool new videos were.
From the
and we
perimeter going inwards,
yeah,
spiraling in.
We would just argue. Like that's all I remember is just getting into like really intense arguments with my little brothers over which movies we were going to rent.
Do you have the same taste as your siblings?
One of my brothers was really obsessed with the Hilary Duff movie.
Whoa.
And
Which one? Cinderella Story?
No, the one with Paolo and
the
Isabella.
Lizzie McGuire movie?
Oh my God, yes, the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Yeah.
Set in Rome.
Set in Rome, one of the great Roman films.
Yeah.
That and Gladiator, the two most important Roman films.
That's my Roman Empire, really. It's the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Wow.
But yeah, I think that's like the light bulb memory for me. Hilary Duff.
Wow, that's it. Well, she's a classic of the video store era, you know, Hilary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good on you.
And my brother also, by the way, would always kind of find a way to, when we got home, make it my decision that we got the Lizzie McGuire movie. And I was like, hold on, because that was you advocating for it.
A master manipulator. I love to hear that. Now that, you know, Roman Empire, Lizzie McGuire, Machiavellian.
Yeah.
Very Machiavellian sibling that you've got there.
I hope he's watching this.
Well, I hope so. Also, let's get into like apple cider vinegar. And I guess with Sissy, there's this kind of thing, this current between these two things. I'm drawing a long bow here.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to draw it.
Do it.
But I think like what kind of connects these things together is these are like stories about online life. And I think it's like a unique kind of thing that we're seeing out now is like these stories that are being adapted or inspired by like online influencers and stuff. What are like the unique challenges for you as an actor to kind of bring those stories to the scene? Because it is kind of a little bit of different acting challenges, right?
Yeah. I think the scene partner I've had most in the last 10 years has been a phone. You know, the phone deserves its own number on the call sheet, really, if we're honest.
And it's easy to get a phone's number. It's just, it's in the context. You can see it straight away.
Yeah. As long as you know the passcode, like, you're good.
You'll find it.
I don't know. I actually really enjoy stories that kind of speak to these, like, weird parasocial relationships we have with each other. And finding a way to kind of make those stories, like, compelling to watch is quite difficult, actually, but I really enjoyed the challenge of it, and I think we experience so much of our lives through like right here now. It doesn't make sense to not tell stories about that because it's so present for us, but yeah, a little bit scary too. I don't know.
Really scary, and like that, it's very contemporary, like very contemporary stories. I think especially with apple cider vinegar, it's so fun, and also makes me feel like, holy crap, I'm getting old. Is seeing like, this is a period piece set like 10 years ago, and I go, oh no, I thought these were all the current references still, but it's like being used to signify, oh no, this is in the past. It's like, that freaks me out.
Even the soundtrack too, because there's so many like really bangers.
Yeah, absolute
bangers in the soundtrack. But like all through it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a new song, right? And then I realize, no, it's 12 years old. Anyway, my back hurts. I'm in my 30s.
What was the research you had to do to kind of like find these characters and like how to embody them, I guess?
Well, I mean, for my character, she's kind of a real person. But I think out of all of the characters, they took probably the most creative liberty with her in kind of threading her into many of the different storylines. As you know, there's kind of 3 or 4 different timelines happening at once, and my character Chanel is kind of the one that seems to go in and out of all of them, and often kind of she's the one that's stirring up shit in each. She's kind of not the reason, but at times she can be kind of...
She's like a catalyst character, you know? Like she's the one that kind of puts things into the starting point of like where things start unraveling.
Yeah. To
some degree, also voice of reason or like a bit more of the... I guess the moral compass for it as well. For a lot of it.
Yeah, but she's not, I wouldn't describe her as being
she's
unequivocally good. She's not, I think she maybe sees herself as being that way. But, more than anything for me, because there was so much creative liberty taken with my character, I decided to just be really specific about who I think she is and was. And I think the thing that takes precedence over everything is just the fact that I saw her as being this woman who's so hyper intelligent, has so many thoughts and things going on in her brain at once, that the challenge is always to get them from in here to come out of her mouth, and often she's kind of spouting off like 3 different ideas at once. and kind of unable to stop the train of thought from her brain to like, yeah.
How do you physicalize something like that?
Honestly, for me, I'm not like a super cerebral kind of actor or person even. I just listened to a lot of music and tried to find the music that she was kind of listening to.
What was she listening to?
Like a lot of like Fall Out Boy.
Hell yeah. Do you listen to that as well? You go, this is so
look,
far from where I am.
It's not too far away from where I was. I was more of like an R&B kind of girl growing up. You know, I used to think that I loved Usher and like all those like B-boys, and now I realize I wanted to be them.
Yeah.
I thought the girls were cute, and like I actually had no idea. Anyway, that's a side note. Don't worry about that.
But you still also be like, yeah, my character, I listen to music, same music that I listen to as well, though, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to like kind of switch it up a little bit. I feel like
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
great.
super far, but yeah, like, you know, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, those kinds of things. That felt also like they were filled with a certain amount of rage too.
Yeah. Has that always been your process, like finding songs to associate to, like, do you listen to the songs just before going into a scene and stuff as well?
Usually if I know that a project is kind of in the final stages of being like worked out from like a businessy deal sense, I'll start like putting a playlist together for myself, and then I will just listen to only that playlist until I rap.
Yeah, wow.
And like occasionally go outside of it if I need to like let something go a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will pretty much create a playlist that will be like several hours long.
Whoa.
And I'll just like kind of keep adding to it.
You got to start putting the playlists out, going like this.
Some of them are, and then some of them I have to keep private
wow,
for me.
okay.
But yeah, I think some of them are out.
Have you always done that? Has that always been the process?
Pretty much. I would say, yeah, definitely in the last maybe decade. My parents are musicians, so I like always kind of grew up around a lot of music and didn't always actually have access to a lot of movies. That was much harder because we didn't have a TV or we didn't have a DVD player or whatever, but we always had a record player in the house.
Yeah, wow.
And, you know, we always had like a tape deck in the car or one of those weird tape decks that had a wire out of it that went to the Discman.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, my mum's an opera singer, so there was just always a lot of music around.
Always your access point to creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, completely.
Amazing. Well, you know, today you've got access to every movie ever made. That times are changing for you right now as of being in the last video store. You have access to every single movie ever made. And heck, we're going to throw in VHS player for you, DVD player. There'll be a Blu-ray access for you.
Blu-ray didn't get its moment in the way it should have.
Oh, in my life? Yeah, the moment still exists right now.
Really?
I'll never let it die.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm inundated by them.
That's really nice.
No,
That's
it's
sweet.
tough. It's tough. You don't know how hard it is to move house with 3,000 Blu-rays. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry to say it. Sorry to shock you.
Do you have one of those Blu-ray folders?
Oh, you can't do that.
You can't.
I've got one, but I try to keep them. This is the worst podcast ever. If
No,
I just start
let's
talking
get
about the
into
collection.
it, actually. I think
This
it's
is my
really-
therapy. I'm starting tensing up, just going, oh, no, I have to explain
Just
what it is.
relax your shoulders. Let's
Okay,
do
I'm
some
in.
box breathing.
Wow. Okay, you are good at that. You are good. Wow. I'm back in the room. But we're going to send you out into the store. You can go pick out any movies you want to talk about, and you got a special combo. Not 3 for $10. This is 4 for free, I guess.
Okay.
You don't have to pay anything today.
Wow.
You're going to get 1 new release film, 2 weeklies, and then I'm going to give you a recommendation based on your taste. Yes.
yeah.
Customization. I'm bespoking you right now. And if you've seen the movie, like I said, you will be able to execute me. That'll be my punishment.
I'm so excited.
You can pick up any case, anything, bash me over the head with it, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, the Indiana Jones one feels like it's got some good like torque on it.
Yeah, you can whip me with that. Just whip it upside my head.
Sweet.
Yeah, go through it. Thank you very much. Head on out.
New release.
You've got a great stack of movies right here. There's some interesting choices here, but let's get in with your new release first. This is a movie I had just seen. I've just seen this basically on your recommendation. This is a Spanish language film, Argentine, Spain, co-production, official competition.
Comedy.
Tell us what it's about.
I mean, I've heard rumors that this is maybe based on an actual director. I'm not sure how true it is.
I think the person I thought it would be from watching it, I had a suspicion of who it could be, but basically this is kind of satirical comedy set in the world of Spanish international art house prestige cinema and the making of a film, and it's instigated by an eccentric freaking millionaire who's worried about his legacy. So it's like, oh, I want to make a film, but I have no imagination. I'm going to get all the best filmmakers and the best actors to come together.
Yeah.
And of course, the best filmmaker is played by one of the greatest actors of all time, Penelope Cruz. You've got freaking Antonio Banderas coming in, playing a version almost of himself, of a movie star who probably doesn't think too much about his craft. And then you've got Oscar Martinez as Ivan Torres, who is basically an elder statesman, hugely prestigious actor, and they all come together to make something.
Yeah.
Do you know who the director, did you have a thought of who it could be?
I feel like just based on the hair, I thought it was Alma Harrell.
Oh, I reckon.
But I don't know.
I reckon the hair is fully Alma Harrell, who did Honey Boy, right?
Yes, yeah.
Honey Boy. I think as well Lucrecia Martel, who is this Argentine filmmaker who did Headless Woman and a bunch of Argentine films.
Okay, that tracks.
I think it's honestly, I think you're right. I think it's a melding of these two people because they're in this weird space, artistic space. And the thing that Lucrecia's probably best known for at the moment is she served on the Venice Film Festival jury as the head of the jury the year that they awarded Joker the best picture at the Venice Film Festival. So she is an intense person, great intense films.
Oh, great.
And I think Penelope Cruz channels this intensity so well. What is it about this movie that you just fell in love with straight away?
Well, I think it's kind of narcissistic and whatever, but filmmakers love watching shit about making fucking films, which is kind of annoying, but also they're interesting worlds to kind of delve into.
I think exploring artistry through art is come on, that's exciting.
Yeah, and I love that it took place in the 2 weeks kind of before they even make the film. And I like anything that is kind of absurd. I love films that kind of, especially, if we're talking about something that is actually very close to my heart, something that I love doing, being on set and in the rehearsal process is my favorite thing in the world. But it's nice sometimes to just point a finger at how absolutely absurd it is that we, as grown adults,
get to play make-believe.
Well, we're sitting around and it's really our job that we're getting paid to do, to be like, okay, so you're going to act like you're dying. That is on fire over there. You're going to collect the sound and you're going to shoot it on this thing. And we're all just going to make believe. And I don't know. I just really enjoy kind of going into that headspace instead of taking it so seriously.
And it captures that absurdity so well. Translates it into kind of a bit of absurd humor, great satire. I think it is, I was laughing from the start, just this billionaire basically going, I want to make a movie. I don't know anything about it. I have no interest in it. I have no imagination. I don't even watch movies. And just getting all this absurd crew to come together to make it.
Yeah, he options this book and he hasn't read the book. So he's like, can you explain what's in the book? And at one point, the director tries, what is this dance move?
Oh, the backpack dance? Is it backpack kids?
It's something that my 16-year-old sister knows how to do. I don't know how to do it. But at one point, there's just this single shot of her trying to do that for about 1.5 minutes. And it goes back to another scene. I just love how stupid that is.
It becomes interstitials of people dancing directly to camera.
Yeah.
It's just great. Yeah. And I think that Penelope Cruz performance, I would say she's one of my very, very favorite actors. Her and Antonio Banderas, I'm a big Pedro Almodovar guy. So to see them, they've been in most of his movies, but never together on screen, really.
Oh, yeah.
So seeing them together, it's this is unlocking something for me in a very good way. Just finally getting to see them muck around together. I think they're just so funny. Just especially to channel a lot of her intensity into something quite absurd and something quite heightened, and someone so, I guess, with all this artistic integrity that is almost meaningless at certain points. I just think it just works so well.
Yeah. I just feel like as silly as the movie is, because all three of those actors are so good and they're really carrying the movie together, in all of its absurdity, it's still actually kind of hurts at times, and it actually really kind of gut punches you in certain points. And I love being gaslit by a movie, so there's that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I think it's one of the great. It's a great gaslighting movie as well. I think as well, like it just keeps on building the stakes. Like everything keeps getting built up together, and like you said, it's like these three great performers carrying this film and seeing the power and status change between them. There's nothing more delightful than that. Seeing power imbalance as channeled through really big comedy. Like it gets broader as this film goes on, as it becomes less connected to reality or the stakes of an actual film production, as it kind of falls more into disaster and disaster after disaster that is all of their own making.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought this to me because it's just so fun. But beyond that, it's an incredibly good looking movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I think with comedy sometimes people forget that style can be funny, and having this film be shot so symmetrically, so nice and wide, like everything just looks beautiful. There's creative decisions in every kind of shot movement, the way everything's placed. You forget that style can be funny, and seeing something like this, you go, oh, style is hilarious. Style can create comedy.
Well, yeah, there's also like so much empty space in every frame. The people are like little ants, and then you just see this kind of like huge architectural space around them. I also really like the sound design.
Great sound design.
You know, there's this moment where she's covering each ear, and you don't actually know why why the left and right speakers are kind of
Doing something.
getting cut out until you see a shot of her kind of doing this for reasons that I still don't know.
Was it something like a lawnmower or something like that?
Yeah, it was
Or
like guys with a
gardening?
leaf blower, just like blowing leaves around.
It's like great, like that's so thoughtful to be
Yeah.
making comedy out of everyday moments that are odd. Like just go, everyone's done that. Like I've got a freaking guy to whippersnippers out my window. I go, what are you doing? Or using a leaf blower out there. I go, well, you just use a rake, mate. You're not saving much time using the leaf blower.
That's true. Yeah.
We got to get a guy in here to start doing leaf blowing around, putting all the discs back in the right place.
Yeah.
That's my next employee that I would be looking for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you want to do that, you've got
I
booth
don't have
operating.
another thing lined up,
Okay.
so I'll
We'll
do
just
it.
animate you in the next shots in the next episode. Is there any other final thoughts you have on official competition?
I don't know. I'm just really glad that you got to experience it. I tell
Oh, I'm
everyone
still
about this
experiencing
movie
it.
all the time. Like, welcome.
Well,
Welcome
now
to
it's
the
going out
cult.
to thousands and thousands of people going, you have to watch it right now.
Oh, great.
I'm going to do it down the barrel. Official competition, one of the best things I've seen all year. But it is only January 29th of when we're recording this, so I've seen a few movies, but it's early on.
Still.
Official competition, it's in the competition. Best movie I've seen all year.
Fuck yeah.
Weekly.
All right, let's get into your weekly choices now. The first movie you've got here, you've got the copy sitting right in front of you. This is, we've been doing this show for about a year. I'm going to say it. I think this is the coolest movie anyone's picked on this show. Straight up, one of the hardest genre films ever made. You've got Coffy, starring the great Pam Grier. One of the coolest, hardest, truly best genre pictures ever.
Cult.
Tell me about Coffy. Tell me about Pam Grier. Why'd you love this movie?
I just remember the first time I watched the movie, the first sequence where Pam Grier with like a sawn-off shotgun or something, just like, and like all the fake blood just goes everywhere. And I think also this movie kind of came into my life a little bit before, but it was kind of the beginning of my love of like slasher, kind of horror genre films. I didn't grow up watching them. I really kind of found them in my early 20s. And specifically like Blaxploitation films. Actually, I was recovering from like a kind of big surgery when I was like 21, and I had weeks and weeks to just lay in bed and wait for my abdomen to heal. And so I just watched every movie that I possibly could and became completely obsessed with Blaxploitation. And I think there was something about just seeing, first of all, a Blaxploitation film that was centering a black woman was really cool. Also, to just see how angry she was and again, I guess I just really like absurd films and films that maybe go a little bit too far.
Heightened, like real heightened. Especially like, you know, if you're in a position where you're like vulnerable, you're recovering from surgery, to see someone so powerful, you know, like that's must be fulfilling something for you, right?
Yeah. I think also just, I liked her outfits. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it's a spectacular film.
Yeah.
Spectacular outfits. I think when you think about like exploitation cinema and genre cinema, what you want, Coffy delivers harder than any film ever in that space. Like, it's kind of the ideal genre film because it's got some of the hardest and best action. Like, there's so many great action sequences and fight sequences and just shit that is hard in this. Then you've got genuinely great social commentary as well. And that's kind of, when I think about genre pictures, I think about them as a great envelope to send a great, like, powerful message. And in Coffy, it's like raw, it's sharp, it feels really real. And for those that haven't seen Coffy, basically it's an exploitation revenge film where Pam Grier is a nurse by day and then an avenger by night, going out and getting revenge for her sister who became addicted to drugs. And the kind of social commentary in it is this drug ring is depicted as this huge systemic problem that infects the police, infects the politics, and it's all these like white gangsters taking advantage of black communities. And just because it's like so on the nose, so there, and it shows how big the problem is, and just having someone going in and shooting people in the head, blowing heads apart. Like this, when I'm talking about how hard this is, the first scene that you start talking about, this sawn-off shotgun, she shoots a guy point blank in the head with it and blows his head open. And the way that they captured that, because when you watch it even now, like this movie was made like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
You watch it now and you go, how the fuck did they do that? The way they did it is they learn from, like, you know, there's scenes in movies where someone's got a spider on them and they don't want an actual spider on them. It's scary for an actor. So they'll put like a piece of glass perspex or a piece of plastic on them so the spider could look like it's on them, but it's not actually on them.
Oh.
And so the director, Jack Hill, goes, how can I do that for this? So for that scene, they literally had the two actors, Pam Grier and the other actor, separated by plastic. So she could shoot this shotgun directly into his face. So like it would just have like the bursting of the blank going out. So it wouldn't be setting him on fire, wouldn't hit him.
Right.
And then they had a setup in the back of his head that would just shoot out air and, as they said, spaghetti. So it would look like his head exploded. And that's how they did it all in one shot.
Whoa!
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts. That's really cool.
It's really cool. And it looks fucking insane
I
in
mean,
the
we
film.
love to see heads explode.
It's
really,
one of the most cinematic things you can do.
I agree. I actually think it's high art.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, I love also the fact that she is a lot of things in this movie. She has moments of just being this kind of sexy siren. And then I think directly after the scene where the spaghetti gets shot out of the guy's head, it cuts to her in hospital in like a little hairnet.
Yes.
With like gloves, like, yes, doctor. It's very funny to me.
It's so funny.
I think that's peak comedy.
It is, because it's just like you're getting all the excesses of genre. It all comes together. You're having great heightened time.
Yeah.
And she's just like one of the greatest movie stars of all time. She's she's working the switchboard at American International Pictures that made like lots of blaxploitation films in this era. She's working the switchboard. She's discovered by the director of this film, Jack Hill, and Roger Corman, who's like one of the masters of genre cinema. She was in LA. She wanted to be an actor, but it like took her a few years to break in. But she broke in because she was just working at a studio.
Wow.
And they go, you're great. You should be in movies. And they start putting her in roles, then eventually lead roles. And then you got something like Coffy, followed by the one that she does right after that, Foxy Brown.
Foxy Brown.
Yeah, she does that right after, and that almost started as a sequel to Coffy. And that becomes even more heightened, whereas Coffy's realer, grounded. Like when I say it's the best movie, the coolest movie anyone's ever picked on this show, I truly mean it. I think anyone would get something hugely out of Coffy.
I feel very honored that you've said that, because it truly is one of my favorite movies of all fucking time. And I feel like anytime I watch it, I always leave feeling a bit like puffed up and stronger, and like it's also, look, it's not completely politically correct either, which I actually quite enjoy because it was made in the 70s. You know, we can't expect it to be, but...
And genre pictures should be taking wild swings when it comes to, like, their social message.
Yeah.
Like, if we go, by the end of the film, we go, wow, that's a great message. You know, it should be like, oh, that's crazy. It's like, you should be, like, everyone should be executed for, you know, sending out drugs into communities. You go, no, actually, that is a good message now that I say it out loud.
Yeah.
But so good. Such a cool movie. When you think about Pam Grier's performance and Pam Grier's performer, how does that inspire you as a performer?
I think actually Coffy was something that I watched a lot around when I was filming kind of SISSY stuff.
Great head explosions in SISSY.
Great head explosions, a lot of blood and guts flying around everywhere. I think there has kind of this insane way of conveying both strength and vulnerability and kind of this this really soft side, as well as her really badass kind of strong nature. And she's kind of like the earliest representation for me that I saw that felt really exciting to me. That, and then like old Josephine Baker movies.
Yeah.
And they were always available at the library too. I think that's why I gravitate towards kind of the Blaxploitation genre and like those old movies, because they were free. You didn't actually have to go to the video store.
Yeah, well, today they're free for you as well. I'll give it to you
right.
for free, no charges. I think as well, like, I love how you talk about her vulnerability and in comparison or in juxtaposition with her strength. And most people probably know her from Jackie Brown, the Quentin Tarantino film. But the reason she's in that, the reason she works in that is because she has like this great history of being a lead, especially in a time where she was the lead black actress. Like there was very few other people that were getting those roles, and none outside of this genre.
Yeah.
And her significance is she's not the first black lead, but she's the first female black lead action star that's like getting to do kick-ass powerful stuff. That's why she's an icon. That's why she's great. But when you watch Jackie Brown, it is all that vulnerability that comes through, and it's like those soft, tender moments between her and Robert Forster. And between the two of them, that's like the greatest casting I think any film has ever had.
Well, you know, there's a coffee shop now. A friend of mine actually just texted me a picture of it. There's a movie theater in LA that Quentin Tarantino bought.
Yeah, the New Beverly.
I think it's the Vista.
Oh, another one. Okay, so another one.
It's something on the east side.
Yeah.
And there's a coffee shop downstairs that's called Pam's Coffee, and it just has big pictures of her everywhere, like in coffee.
Holy shit!
And I've never been there. Anyway,
next time you got to make the pilgrimage.
I know. Well, I live there, so I'm going back. I've been running for my life for like 6 months, but that's another podcast. Don't worry about that.
Okay, we're gonna go right into it right after this.
Okay.
But that is Coffy. Any other final thoughts you want to share?
Oh my God, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to get into anything else that happens in the movie. You just gotta kind of watch it and experience it and know that it's completely absurd and silly. And, you know, it's just one of the earliest things that was made like for black people by black people, which I love.
I would just say this final thing. That shotgun to the head's awesome. Guy gets shot in the dick. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Guy gets his dick shot off, basically. That's really cool. There's an incredible cat fight sequence that goes forever. That's like mind-blowing, mind-bending.
You know what? That actually, we need to talk about that. When she puts razor blades into her little afro, knowing that at some point the white girl was going to try to touch her hair, and you see this woman screaming with her hands all cut up, I think like... After my surgery, that was like the first time I really stood up straight. I said, I'm healed. I'm fine now. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Oh, I had to. I go, that's the movie right there.
It's an iconic moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that was so good. All right, we're going into your final weekly choice. And we're talking about juxtapositions here. Going from Coffy, which I think is the best movie ever picked on this podcast, the coolest movie ever. Your next film, I'm going to admit it right now. I'm going to put you on the defense. This is my least favorite movie ever made in the history of cinema. You've picked Ron Howard's masterpiece of horror, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Am I going to have to give you my TED Talk about this
movie? You have to give me the TED
Talk. Because I will do it.
Children.
This is a movie that horrifies me.
You're
Horrifies me. I hate looking at The Grinch. I think it looks so horrifying to look at.
right. I'm so glad you were honest because I think
couldn't lie to
honesty is
you.
key.
Yes, I could
Here's
not
the
lie to
thing.
you.
Here's the thing. This is probably the movie I've seen the most in the
Oh my
world.
God.
And I thought for a second, you know, they asked me, do you want to go on this podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Last video store, it's like very like bougie, like
It's
we watch
bougie.
films.
Yeah.
We like films and
We
we
love
like
films.
filmmakers.
We
And I
love
was like, okay, I'm going
filmmakers.
to pick like 3 like Criterion Collection. I'll probably put like a Fellini movie in there
Mm-hmm.
and some Cassavetes and be like, yeah, these are the movies I watch.
Wow.
That would have been a lie.
Wow. Okay, thank you for being honest. That's
Do you know
all
what
I
I
can
mean?
do.
Like they said your favorite movies
Wow.
and I said
Great.
The Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch.
The Grim Cherry. Grim Cherry. Grim Cherry. Grinch Cherry. Grim Cherry. I can't say it anymore. I've lost my mind.
Okay, listen, the cast is stacked.
It is stacked cast.
Yeah. I also like
Everyone looks horrifying there,
Everyone
except Christine
looks-
Baranski, who's really sexy in it, and that to me is the most disturbing thing in the
okay,
film.
Martha May Whovier, yes. She is sexy, very much a part of it. Like another kind of weird sexual awakening for me as a kid. I said, do I want to be her? Do I want to marry her? I don't know.
Do you want to be the Grinch?
Do I want to be? Maybe I want to be the Grinch.
Yeah.
Possibly. I do identify with the Grinch.
Wow,
you know,
okay.
In some ways, just
You're
like
out there stealing Christmas, breaking hearts.
I just like to stay in my house.
Yeah, okay.
You know, sometimes I'm like, why would I leave? I have everything I need.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's just.
Yeah.
I just think soundtrack hits, cast, fucking stoked. Makeup, costumes,
Horrifying.
set design.
Oh, set design is magical. I'll give it that.
I mean,
But I also hate the way that Ron Howard shoots. It's all in like Dutch angles. Everything's on it. Every shot in this movie is a Dutch angle. The way that I've always thought of the Grinch, I go, the Grinch, and even the way that's shaped and like the story and all that stuff, I go, how the Grinch Stole Christmas is literally Citizen Kane of horrifying movies for me. Where like there's something about it, I go, it feels like Citizen Kane. Like it's
Yeah.
doing crazy camera work like Citizen Kane, but it's wrong and it feels weird.
Yeah.
And it's I have a averse reaction to this movie.
yeah. Nothing makes sense.
I'm turning green thinking about it.
Um,
My heart is actually going 3 sizes too big, and it's a problem. You're gonna have to save me here.
What's funny is I know every line to this entire movie. I know the whole soundtrack. Like I could just start from the start and go through. If you want the rest of this
Wow.
podcast to just be that,
I
I'm
would
happy to do
love,
it.
you know, the version that we're going to put at the shop from now on. If anyone else picks us up, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, I can't even say these words anymore. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It will be the video, like you see the image will be exactly the same, but the audio will be you reenacting every part and
that's a
doing
good
every
idea.
sound. We'll construct it here.
Da-na-na-na-na-na. I know it.
Wow,
And then
okay.
you travel inside the snowflake, and then you go.
Do you know that Jim Carrey had, like, he went through CIA training for this movie?
I actually do know that.
He went through CIA training for this movie because it took so long to put him in the most horrifying makeup of all time that he had to learn how to withstand torture.
Yeah, like I think they kind of gave him like waterboard training because apparently the nose piece.
The nose
piece that I know you love so much. It
I would say
felt like being waterboarded. Apparently,
you've actually identified the thing I hate most. This movie is
the
the nose
nose.
piece.
Yeah.
And it's every character has a weird nose in
They
this.
do.
But it's like from the tip to the nose to the top of the lip.
yeah, and then the teeth.
And then the teeth, it fucks me up. It's like they go, how do we put a gooch on a face and we're going to do it in this children's movie? And they go, let's do it. We're going to change the construct of someone's face.
It's really like, yeah, it's a disturbing, weird film. But I think like, yeah, maybe I just have Stockholm syndrome with this
Wow.
film. But
You
like,
learn
I've
how to
seen
withstand torture.
I've seen
You
it so many times.
I'll be honest, this is an unpopular opinion that I have. Every time I said the Grinch is horrifying, people get up in arms with me.
Oh, really?
Yes, so you're on the right side of history. I'm wrong. I refuse to believe I'm wrong.
Look,
but
I get it because there is one scene. You remember he was like walking across. I don't know why I
Yes.
needed to do this.
Yes, I was
But when
disturbed
he's
by it.
trying on things and he's walking across and he's wearing a garter
Yeah.
on his leg and you can see like the dark.
Oh my god.
Like, you know, he's a hairy Man Grinch.
Yeah, I hate the hair on his fingers too.
Yeah.
I hate that.
There are certain things, certain choices that they made that really do kind of turn your stomach
They're
a little
visceral.
bit. They
Yeah.
are.
It's
but
a
I think
visceral.
that's the point.
Oh, I mean, it has to be. You can't do this by accident. You have to have this as the point.
Brilliant filmmaking. I think it belongs on the Criterion.
Yeah, the other thing with this version we're going to be giving out to you. It is a Criterion version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's going to have the little C logo.
Sweet.
We got a spine number. Spine number
Finally.
666 because it's pure evil. This movie. I also, when we're talking about I think when you go Jim Carrey Grinch, horrifying in that makeup. The little kid Grinch, even worse to me.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they have the animatronic baby, one of the most nightmarish things on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And other systems as well.
Well, yeah, completely. But then when you think about Martha May,
Jeez.
when she does that, she has that machine that she uses to like
To shoot the Christmas lights.
to shoot the Christmas lights up onto her house. I was like, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
All right, yeah, Grinch 5 stars from me now. You convinced me.
They give you light and shade.
They really do. And in both, the light will burn you and the shade will turn you blind, you know? It's both of those things. And that's why, I mean, it cannot be denied. We're here disagreeing on this podcast right now, but that's powerful cinema.
Yeah, that's discourse.
We're having discourse. We're in the discourse right now. The Grinch is one of the most powerful films ever made, I guess. Well, good on you. Good on you, mate, for picking up The Grinch.
Listen, it's something that I watch several times a year, every year.
Can I ask, are you watching it not out of Christmas?
Out of Christmas.
That's fucked
But
up.
definitely on Christmas.
Okay, that's normal. That's
Like,
normal. You have to.
Oh, my mom, she'll be like, all right, here we go.
How soon after Christmas are you watching? Christmas, we're in January right now. Have you seen Grinch this year?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, cool.
But I'm sure I will. I remember when I was filming The Bold Type, Katie, Megan, and I had certain movies that we would just watch a lot. And it was a lot of the Twilight series.
I love Twilight series. I love those. I adore those. Yes.
You know, and The Grinch.
Well, okay, this might be a film festival that we programmed together. Twilight, The Grinch, as
Yeah.
introduced by the stars of The Bold Type.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. Beautiful film festival we put on.
We start with New Moon usually, weirdly. I don't know what that's about.
Okay, now that's interesting. Next time you come on, we have to talk about that. But that is How the Grinch Stole Christmas from the evil genius Ron Howard. And that's all your weekly choices.
Staff pick.
Now we come to the part of the show where I'm putting all of those in my brain right now to try and give you a recommendation based on your taste, based on everything you feel, everything that you love about cinema, everything that we've been talking about. The Grinch, I'm going to put a little drop of The Grinch. It's an
It has
eyedropper.
to be slightly tacky.
Slightly tacky, and I think the visceralness of The Grinch shall be in your pick. The visceral reactions of The Grinch perhaps will be in there.
Yeah, certainly.
But I was trying to think of what can we go. I'm thinking key things that came up for me in our chat is revenge. Like I love the revenge of Coffy. Like that is genre. Like that's perfect. That's something you get interested in. And then I was like, okay, let's go Spanish language. I want to do something that kind of big heightened comedy of official competition. Give you something Argentine as well. And this is a movie that's one of my favorite movies I've seen since being part of the discourse, if you will.
Sure.
That came out when I started, doing film podcasting. This is an Argentine movie called Wild Tales. Have you seen Wild Tales?
No!
Oh, thank fuck, dude. Because I did not want to get executed by a Grinch style.
Yes,
did not want to
you'll live today.
I'm living to see another day.
Comedy.
But this is a great film, heightened comedy. It is an anthology film of short films all about revenge. All about revenge. That's the common link. Some of them kind of link together, but revenge is the centerpiece. And do you want to read the back of the box we got there?
Wait, yeah, like this little section here.
Yeah, read the little that area there.
Okay, Wild Tales is a fresco of rage, fury, deception, and revenge. Made up of 6 stories, it is an entertaining and jaw-dropping film about people crossing the line into madness when faced with perceived injustice. Oh, that's my favorite thing in the world.
There you go.
Okay, a lover's betrayal, a return to the repressed past, and the violence woven into everyday encounters drive the characters to lose control and cross the line that divides civilization and barbarism.
Wow. Okay, that's better than. I'm glad I got you read it because I would have said much worse stuff.
Oh,
than
really?
That. Yeah, that's really good.
I love this.
Yeah, but it's like this got this brilliant pace to it, really hilarious dark comedy, and it gets you from the start.
Fuck
like the first short film in there just really gets you into this zone of revenge because it's set on an airplane. The pilot is the pilot's gone deranged with revenge, and then from there it goes full ball, like through the start, and it kind of is about like the pleasure of losing control through revenge. Like that is what you get as a viewer watching this. The pleasure of seeing someone go freaking wild with revenge.
Yeah, cool.
And just all of that works so well. Brash tone, exciting, full on, brutal from start to finish as well. I think this is so up your alley.
And it was nominated for an Academy Award?
I think it was nominated for Best International Film.
Wow.
Best Foreign Language
Best
Film.
foreign film.
Yeah. And it's a true pleasure. True pleasure, this film. Watch it with friends as well.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have a good time.
I can't believe I've not even heard of this film.
Oh my
actually.
gosh, I'm going to heaven hearing this. Wow.
This is brilliant, actually, because I'm very I don't know. I like move a lot slower these days. It's in like recent years of my life where I'm like learning how to say no a lot and take breaks between projects. And I just finished something, but like I want to do a slasher again, and I think I need to start
there because there's different tones and stories. Like some are kind of like a bit more rom-com-y, some are a little bit more horror genre-y and action genre-y.
Yeah.
But you know, for those, like it's basically on every streaming service I'm looking at right now.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude, it's accessible out there in the world. But that is Wild Tales, an Argentinian modern classic for me, modern classic. Aisha, you picked some great movies today. You also picked The Grinch.
Hey, I picked some great movies. I also picked The Grinch.
Yeah, I have to put them separately.
I love that you're honest with me about it.
I could not lie to you. How could I?
But that's why I couldn't lie. When they said, give us your favorite movies, I said, sorry.
At the end of this,
The Grinch is on there.
This is one of the most honest podcast experiences anyone's ever had. You're listening to this right now or watching it on YouTube going, I just heard one of the most frank, honest discussions of my life. And it was about The Grinch. It was about The Grinch, which is exciting. You picked up official competition, the new release section. You got Coffy, still the coolest pick anyone's ever had. Grinch, most interesting pick anyone's ever had on the podcast. And Wild Tales. Yeah. Hope you're happy.
I'm fucking thrilled. I can't wait to watch this.
I can't wait for you to watch it. Come back and we'll talk about it sometime in the future.
Sure, absolutely.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And you send me some photos of the coffee shop as well. Pam Grier's coffee.
I will. Oh, she's like the only person I'd ever be starstruck by.
Wow.
For sure.
All right, you'll meet her for sure.
I hope so.
For sure.
I love her.
I reckon you guys will be doing a Dr. Seuss adaptation together the next 3 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Horton shoots a Who. I'd love to see it. Just pre-war revenge together.
Fuck yeah.
And you've got Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Across the world.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. It's
Chuck
a crazy
it on your
show.
telly.
Chuck it on the telly.
Another absurd story, but somehow true.
Yeah, you make it true. That's it. It's absurd, and I go, shit, it's true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you.
Thank you.
The last video store.
Thank you for joining me and Aisha D on The Last Video Store. Check out Apple Cider Vinegar right now on Netflix, starring Aisha D. Also, Sissy, it's so good. You're going to have such a good time. It's got some of the best head-crushing scenes you've ever seen.
Yeah, it really does.
It really does,
I remember,
dude.
I think I screamed in the cinema. I loved it.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
That is Sissy. That is Apple Cider Vinegar. Aisha D was the guest today. We talked about The Grinch, which
Yeah,
is
make
so
sure you
fun.
watch The Grinch as well. I want to see an uptick in their streams in January.
Exactly, in January. Want more January, February Grinch screenings. That's what we want to get. And then also check us out on YouTube if you're listening to this podcast. If you're a YouTuber, listen to it as well. We want double downloads. But we're Last Video Store Batuta on Instagram and TikTok. I promise to be doing more TikToks as well. But we've been sharing some cool stuff on the Instagram page. And you can reach us there if you want to send in what your combo is, comment on any kind of things, interact with us in the public space. But that's everything. That's all I need to say, right? My name's Alexei Toliopoulos. I love you. Follow me on Letterboxd. Oh, and please come to my comedy festival show. Holy shit, put that up the top of the episode too, or put it in an ad somewhere in the middle.
No, you left it too late. But come to the show.
Come to my show. It's called Refused Classification, starring me and Zachary Ruane. On sale right now in the show notes. Everywhere where you watch shows in Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Brisbane maybe.
It's everywhere where you watch
Adelaide.
shows.
It's there. We're going to do all of them.
See you there.